thing to click through. Okay, I was asked to address the issue of making time to teach ag safety. As a former ag teacher, I can attest to it. That's a real challenge. Maybe give you a little bit about the history. And first of all, I commend the efforts of everyone here. This is the first I've been associated with anything like this. As an ag teacher, I never realized there were this many different organizations dealing with safety. Had no clue. Even though I'll give you a little bit about history of safety and what I did as an ag teacher, and a little bit about myself. I taught high school agriculture for 35 years in Ohio, and started out in the production ag world, moved into, had some mechanics. I kind of caught all the areas, and then things went more to science end, so I was in the plant animal science area, teaching more of actually a science class. Did some farm management classes, also had some adult education classes with a young farmer group, and then the last few years I was with the Career Center and taught in the horticulture world, mainly landscape and greenhouse management. But again, safety is one of those things that it doesn't matter how old you are. It's something that you always need. We always need to be reminded of it. That's why we put the signs on the sides of the highway to click it or ticket. We always need to be reminded of it. So that's something that I always have in my mind. During the early years of my teaching career, all my freshman students came into the agricultural education students and received a tractor and agricultural equipment safety program. And then upon completion of that program, we're issued a certificate of completion showing that they were safety trained. This certificate was from the Ohio Department of Labor, showing that they went through that. Class time allowed me about 90 minutes per class session to be able to go through the instruction and do demonstrations to demonstrate to the students, and then allow them time to be able to practice that skill or demonstrate that skill back to me. And so also along with that, I had the time where for several years, and I think back, I'm not sure how long it was, maybe 5 years, in which I also offered that same instruction during the summer months to any student that wanted it. And came from all across the county as that. But, and again, upon completion, they got the certificate. We had the time to be able to do that. With that, these students could then take that certificate to their employer to show that they were safety certified and had gone through an awareness program to be aware of the safety issues. This all worked great, and I had the flexibility to be able to develop a curriculum under the direction of my local advisory committee, who said, yeah, this is something that we need and the community needs. Okay. But then changes started happening, which again, change is inevitable. But class times, first of all, were changed to where we were now at about 52 minutes of class time and instruction. And that really put a crunch on things to be able to go through the entire list of that you needed to accomplish, the standards for that certification program. But again, I still tried to fit it in with the ag and equipment operation safety. Changes also affected that, and the number of extended days that were offered for me through the summertime, and what I did with my days during that summertime education affected whether I could no longer offer that program. Again, when my superintendent found out that I was teaching students from outside the school district, and he was using school district money to pay me, he didn't like that. And so again, fundings affected that. But again, my advisory committee still felt that tractor safety was an important part of our local agriculture curriculum. And so I continued to offer it, but it was in a very abbreviated form. Because of that, I couldn't offer that certificate to the students that came from the Department of Labor. When the National Safe Tractor and Machinery Operation Program, or I called it NSTOMP, came through, it was in cooperation with Ohio State and Penn State, came up with that. I went through the training program to be what you might call a qualified instructor, being able to offer that. The materials that were there were great in that they were broken into little task sheets that students need to accomplish or they would have to master. And that worked great because I could pull from the task sheets that were appropriate to my area and what was there. But again, to offer the certificate of completion I wasn't able to do that with the students. Again, more changes resulted in the set standards that were alluded to and were talked about that students must attain. These standards take away from and how much safety education really can be put in there. Let's say for the so again, the agriculture equipment safety standards, they're still in the set standards, but not to the depth that we can do that. And then again, finding the resources to be able to teach that. There's so many out there. Where are they at? And I concur with what Bill alluded to also, is the change in our teaching force, the workforce of the teachers. How many of them have had any training to be able to present the curriculum and what's there? And so I think the work that worksheet that we had and D was passed out is kind of alluding to trying to find out who are those stakeholders out there that we need to identify them and look at how we can disseminate the information and put that. One thing I'd like to add also is a recent poll of the ag mechanics class and also the horticulture class at our career center in the area where I'm at in Ohio, found that over 90% of the students entering that course as a junior in high school had little or no formal education in safety. I find that, again, here we are in a very rural area that agriculture workforce is going to be needed. It's out there, but very little training is offered to those students and is able to be there. So the need for training is still there. That has been identified, but where do we fit it in? What's the best means of delivering that educational training? How comprehensive does the training need to be? Some suggestions that I might give. One is that where do we meet? What is the industry standard? How do we meet that industry standard? What are the standards? Is there any type of formal certificate that the students can work towards accomplishing, okay, that is accepted by the industry? Give an example, all students in the through 4-H that want to show livestock at their county fair or state fairs goes through a quality assurance program, okay, looking at the handling and proper care of the animals. Okay? Could that same thing be for any student, depending on what area they're working in? The instructional materials maybe could be divided into tractor operation, equipment operation, the crop production or livestock production, ag chemicals, highway transportation, confined spaces, all of these different things. And look at, is there a certificate, a set standards, set things that they need to know within that? And then from there, in our world of fast food education, we need to look at with the electronic media, can we be able to deliver that? And I know there's a lot of efforts going to try to do that, but at the same time, be able to have that person, if they go through and the electronic media, can they go to a certified instructor or someone and demonstrate that they've learned those skills and be able to get that certificate or something that goes with that. You know, again, the video segments, there's nothing that beats hands-on training. To see that for that student, you know, if they're looking at equipment operation, and to see them struggle a little bit when they have to actually get those hydraulic couplers to go together, okay, or come apart properly and safely, to actually make that connection. There's nothing that's going to beat that hands-on. But again, having a checklist where they may say, okay, I've watched the video segment to see how it's done. Now, can they actually demonstrate that to a certified instructor, and that instructor can sign off on a certificate that student can then take to an employer and show. And then is it recognized by the industry as something worthwhile? That's where I see things we maybe need to go through those types of things, and a way to be able to help our instructors. Again, there needs to be instructor training, and it, you know, there's all these standards out there, but again, I'm not even sure what all those are yet. There's so many out there. How do we meet those? How do we identify the stakeholders and get that information to them? With that, those are kind of my comments and things as how I made agriculture safety fit into the agriculture education program that I was with, and some concerns, I guess, or things that maybe we need to look to the future to be able to make that all work. Thank you.